Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Thursday, July 9th, 2026. I'm Manila Chan. Ted Rall is on his potty break. Producer Robbie is in the house. He says we have an ad we have to get to ASAP. So you are tuned in to the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short. I'm Manila Chan. Let's hit that ad to get it out of the way. I'll let
Alrighty.
Robbie do it.
Yep, I got it.
He's getting better at these.
Hey, I'm trying.
You're reading faster.
Well, I try. Access Med, powered by Trinova Health, is a revolutionary telehealth service that offers fast, free online evaluations and free home delivery of customized compounded medications, offering custom weight loss support, ivermectin therapy, hair restoration, cosmetic rejuvenation, custom ED treatments, and more. You can complete your visit in less than 10 minutes, and there's no subscriptions or recurring fees ever. We made getting started easier than ever. Simply follow the link, choose the product or treatment you're interested in, and then complete a quick online evaluation. Within days, your custom meds will be delivered to your door. Mention Rumble in the coupon code and get 10% off your first treatment.
I gotta wonder, Robbie, like the fact that we're talking about a bunch of medical stuff today, do you think that's why the algorithm gave us this particular ad?
It's possible. Also, we were talking about the healthcare stuff at the tail end of deprogram. We just rated over, so it could have carried over from there too.
I'm very curious to know how that works because I wonder if it scans through like our show description because we have to put that into the Rumble, back end stuff. So I wonder if that's their algorithm is reading our show description for the day and the keywords, and that's why we get the ads that we get because we're talking about health stuff today. So that's interesting.
Yep, no, it definitely is possible. I don't know.
All right, and we do this, of course, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please be sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, all that, and drop us a poop emoji or any emoji or just a hello in the chat. We're 9 unique chatters away from hitting the new required metrics from Rumble. And there be Ted, fresh from his potty break.
You don't know that.
I don't know. Maybe you're not fresh.
No. I'm always like Daisy fresh. Are daisies really fresh? Doesn't even know.
Do you remember in the 80s and maybe into the 90s, those old Massengill commercials with the mom and the daughter walking on the beach being like, Mom, do you ever have any of those not so fresh days? And the mom's like, yes. And they're in the middle of the beach and she pulls out a big old bottle of douche.
She wasn't saying like, like in an 80s, from an 80s pop culture thing, like, do you have any times when you're not feeling fresh?
No, not like fresh. Not like that. Just like fresh. But this goes to our whole bidet conversation last week.
True.
Just saying. All right, with that, let's thank you for that, Robbie. Any more housekeeping we got to do before we get to the stories?
No, a couple of people asked, can I make multiple Rumble accounts? The answer is yes, but to chat though, you have to verify it with a phone number. So that's how they try to combat the botters. So if you have access to multiple phone numbers, do as you will. I'm not going to say yes or no, but the answer is yes. You can make multiple accounts, but you have to verify them with phone numbers.
Hey, I appreciate any kind of support, especially when you go out of your way to make sneaky accounts.
Fake support is the best support.
Well, the fact that they tripled the requirement because it used to be 20 and now it's 75. And I mean, TMI is going to be fine. The gaming channel is struggling, but
are you going to be streaming today?
I have to stream every day. That's how I want to make it.
Oh, okay. So
are you going to stream right after this?
Yep, right after this.
All right, so we got to do a call to action like toward the end of the
show. Yes, you guys have to stay tuned to drop a chat for Robbie's game stream so he keeps his channel alive and well. All right, let's get to the stories. All right, so Ted, as the thumbnail suggests today, ghost students, and by that we don't mean like. Yeah, like Halloween ghosts, like scary. This is all the like more threats of AI infiltrating into every parts of our lives. So AI is now going to college, Ted. It's going to college, and it's stealing millions in financial aid from poor kids like me that really, well, you too probably, that needed it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Actually, were you a smarty pants and just got like all kinds of scholarships or?
I was, and when I first, it was kind of bait and switch. Freshman year, I got a full scholarship, full ride, and I mean, and then some. I mean, I had a stipend
Wow.
and a really good work study job, but then they sophomore year, it was also in conjunction with the Reagan budget cuts of 1981. So between those two things, student loans were like the whole college financial aid system was gutted by Ronald Reagan. And
Oh.
so it's all long forgotten. So yeah, so between freshman and sophomore year, my financial aid package evaporated by about 70%. So
Oh, is that why even poor kids like me had to take out fucking loans and I couldn't get Pell Grants and shit?
yeah, it's exactly why. It's fucking
Oh.
Reagan. Because he had
Well, it
to,
was
he had
late
that's how
90s
he
for you.
financed the big tax cuts for the wealthy and for corporations.
Oh, that's fun for on the backs
rate,
of.
the maximum tax rate was 70% before he came along for rich people.
Wow.
And then he dropped it to 28%. So the
Wow.
marginal tax rate. So that caused.
Well,
so that money had to come from somewhere, and he had to increase
right.
defense spending.
So why not on the backs of working class students like me?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you think about grifters, you're thinking smart 17-year-old kids who are just trying to get ahead in life. Yeah, those are the people who need to be destroyed.
Yes, just destroy
Northrop
people
Grumman,
like
on the
me.
other hand, you think of, and they need your money.
They need help.
They're
Poor
poor.
Northrop and poor Grumman. They need help. And I just want to say, Ted, after all a million years out of college, in December, I mean, I might have told you and Robbie offline, but in December, I finally paid off the last bit of my student loans. I'm finally student loan debt free.
Did you must have taken, that means you must have taken some delayed repayments, right?
Yep.
You must have.
Yeah, because I was a
I
poor
forget what that's
struggling
called. There's a
journalist.
term for it. Yeah.
Deferment.
Yeah.
I've taken a million deferments, like to the max, to the hilt, as many as I
Avoid
could
it if
have.
you can. I know. Look, I'm not. I had
tried.
2 of them myself. But when you go through unemployment or whatever, you have no choice but to do it. But
Yeah, I had to on again, off again. Just like my dad warned me that if I wanted to follow in the footsteps of Connie Chung, because she was the only Asian face that was on TV growing up, so he used Connie
I
Chung
thought
as
you
an
meant you
example.
wanted to marry Maury Povich.
Yes, I'm in line. I'm waiting. But he warned me.
They are kind of a cute couple, right?
They're a cute couple. I think Robbie said they live in Montana. They have a ranch in Montana. Like that, they're off the grid, like in Montana somewhere with the big ranch.
Well, good for them. They made a lot of money. They're smart. They're funny. They're like, fuck it. We're gonna live our best lives.
They're cute. They have grandkids and all that, and they just hang out. I think Robbie's back now. Robbie, is that right? Connie Chung and Maury Povich have a ranch in Montana. Is that what you told me before?
Yeah, they own the Daily Interlake newspaper here in Kalispell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen.
They own the newspaper?
Yeah, I've seen them walk around downtown.
Wow.
How do they look? I mean, they're real old.
Oh yeah, I mean, she looks like a little tiny old Chinese lady, and he looks like a little shriveled up little old white guy. But I mean, and they're not here in the winter times. I mean, they're rich as hell. So I mean, they're snowbirds, but they're here in the summertime.
Fuck this, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they're here in the summertime. You see them, like a lot of times I'll go to Norm's News. You'll see them there eating an ice cream or something. I mean, they're just normal people.
Wow.
No, I see them.
Wow, that's cool. Well, so that was my example. Was my dad referenced Connie Chung when he told me, "Are you sure? Like, are you crazy? You sure you want to major in journalism?"
You sure he didn't say that he needed you to Wang Chung tonight?
Well, yeah, no, he did. He did not say that.
The last time I saw her, I told her about you and said a good friend of mine is a Lao, and said you inspired her to get into journalism.
She was the only Asian face in the 80s and 90s, so that's the only frame of reference I had. And my dad said,
So you should blame her for
"Are you
like
sure?"
getting you
I
into this
am. I'm
low-paid dying business.
you blame Connie. Damn it, Connie.
You bitch.
That's exactly what I'd say to her.
I cut you.
I just finally paid off my damn student loans because I followed in your freaking footsteps. Thanks a lot, Connie. No,
Thanks
but
for
this
nothing.
this is the real problem. Okay, we'll get into the story now. And it involves identity theft for those who didn't know. So AI and identity theft. What can go wrong? So for years, colleges worried that students would use AI to cheat on exams. That's the main trend, right? Like, oh, they're not gonna learn anything. They're just using AI to write papers and stuff. Instead, AI has found an even more profitable business model. It's enrolling in college. Across the United States, investigators are warning about a rapidly growing form of fraud involving so-called ghost students. That's fake college applicants created using stolen identities and generative AI to collect taxpayer-funded financial aid before they disappear. The scam has become so widespread that lawmakers, federal investigators, and college administrators are racing to stop it. So here's how it works. Criminals obtain stolen information, often social security numbers purchased from previous data breaches, or like the dark web, and use AI to rapidly complete admissions applications, financial aid forms, and other paperwork. Once these ghost students are admitted, automated tools or hired operators perform just enough online coursework to trigger federal Pell Grants or student loans. As soon as the money is dispersed, the so-called student vanishes. And the scale is staggering. California's community college system, which I was a part of, reported that nearly 1/3, that's staggering, 1/3 of applications in 2024 were fraudulent, resulting in approximately $13 million in stolen state and federal financial aid. Nationwide, the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Inspector General says it has investigated more than $350 million in ghost student fraud over the past 5 years, with roughly 200 active investigations underway. So the damage extends beyond taxpayer dollars. Real students are finding required online classes filled because of fucking bots. So kids can't get the classes they need, delaying their graduation because obviously they can't register. Even worse, some Americans don't discover their victims, I imagine, of the identity theft until they're notified that they owe thousands of dollars in student loans that they never applied for. Colleges are fighting back with their own AI. Many schools are introducing live identity verification, biometric checks, and AI-powered fraud detection systems to distinguish real applicants from synthetic ones. Congress has also responded. The House recently passed the No Aid for Ghost Students Act, which would require stronger identity verification before federal aid is released and establish new safeguards against large-scale financial aid fraud. The story reflects a broader shift in the AI era. AI isn't just changing how people learn, it's changing how criminals exploit the system that's built to help them. Yeah. For decades, financial aid fraud usually involved a dishonest human. Today, AI allows organized networks to generate fake students by the thousands, turning higher ed into another battlefield in the growing war between automation and trust. That is some fucked up stuff, Ted. Like, because I still remember to this day, I mean, just the frustration of not getting the classes you need because you're like, I want to transfer at such and such date. And when you're a working student like me, and I think you did too, Ted, you worked when you were in college.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there are certain, it just really fucks up your life. So that's what caused me to be in and out. And this is back then, right? Like in the 90s and early 2000s. When I imagine some students were probably doing this the old fashioned way. And like, they weren't real students. They were registering for the class, getting the financial aid, and then dropping. Because I remember going, like in the old days, we had to actually show up to class and talk to the professor. And the professor would go, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I have you on the wait list or whatever. But before the window closes, come check with me. I check, none of my students have dropped. But then you go back a month later and half the students are gone, and you can't, it's too late for you to register for that class, and it fucks up students like me and Ted, who had to work our way through college balancing, adulting and student life. But now it's like on an industrial scale, Ted. I hadn't imagined that AI, like, of course they would do this. Besides cheating on papers, of course they would do this.
Well, this isn't students, right? It's not. It
No,
has. I mean, the cheating on paper is kind of like comparing it to that is like apples and oranges, because that's students, who are doing that.
They're allowed to be stupid and fucked.
Well,
if you're a real student,
that's individuals doing stupid shit. I mean, this is crime. This is organized crime. It's millions of dollars. It's, I mean, it's disgusting, right? I mean, Target. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, part of me admires the ingenuity of these criminals, but part of me also thinks, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you get up in the morning in, Moldova or whatever, and you think, like, like, this is good business. We like fuck
good
over
idea.
American college, and then we create fake student and we bust and run. Very funny. And
we take money from poor student in Ohio.
Yeah, and also, like, mini liberal arts school, they close and fire everyone in their community. Like, it is great. Like just kill yourself. Just kill yourself. Really. Suicide. It's for you. Try it. You'll love it.
And the worst part is, okay, I'm surprised that Congress has acted on this at all, given that most of our lawmakers are in they're in vegetative states, not far apart from where Mitch McConnell is, right? They don't even know what AI is or can do or does. So I don't know that they're going to be sufficiently capable of protecting Pell Grants and other loan type programs for real life students. California, maybe, as always, Ted, everyone follows our trends. They're getting ahead of that with biometric verification, which is cool, but that doesn't chop out even, I would say, half, because if you are in some crime syndicate, like we said, we're sorry we're picking on Moldova, but since Ted said Moldova, but if you're some hacker or whatever in Moldova looking for an easy way to scam money, you'll put your fingerprint in a biometric thing on your phone. Like, they don't care. Like, you'll do a retinal scan. Like, you don't fucking care.
They're not coming for you. Yeah.
Right. They know.
Although okay, so I would be into...
Like, what are they going to do? Linda McMahon's going to go over there and fucking body slam you? I don't think so.
Honestly, if the American government cared about its people, I would say there should be a drone squadron that basically targets people in other countries who do this and just kills them. Like, for example, like, if you're some fucking Nigerian and you're like, you're running a romance scam on some fucking old lady in the United States who thinks she's going to get laid because, like, a good looking, like, dude is after her, and, like, a Nigerian prince, and you're like having her send gift cards worth thousands of dollars. Like, okay, we find you in Nairobi and we fucking blow you up. Like, that's it. Over and over.
Oh, like the Yuki parcel bomb type.
Like that. Yeah, or like
we're sending you gift cards.
Or the Hezbollah.
Kaboom.
Or the Hezbollah pagers or whatever. We find you, we kill you.
Yeah, this is some fucked up shit. So we just thought everyone, there are people listening, obviously, that either are college age, or conversely, Ted, people that have kids like your age, like your son's age, that are college students. Like, be aware that this is happening, and
it's so low too, because it's just sort of
there's some asshole that might be stealing your son's identity, Ted, to enroll him. Like, he's going to be saddled with debt that's not his own. Can you imagine?
Yeah, his whole credit's fucked up for years.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Can you fucking imagine?
And
like I said, it's taken me this long to pay off my own, and I only have a fucking bachelor's degree.
Hey,
this is
Manila, you could still end up with new student loans from this.
I'm in the federal system, right? I mean, most of us are, right? So
Yeah.
if there are hackers working with these other syndicates to create fake ghost students, they could theoretically just take your social security number, be like, I'm Manila Chan. I want to go back for a graduate degree now. I want to enroll in, I don't know, veterinary science, JDC. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe that. Like, I'm going to change my career from journalism to veterinary science. And now I need grad school money.
It's my
I don't know.
revenge fantasy that we should be able to find those people and kill them.
Oh, how I never even thought about this, but it's fucking awful. And I have literally, it's taken me this long to pay off my student debt in December. It was my goal was to finish paying off my student debt by 2025. It's taken me this long. And now the threat of some asshole out there stealing my identity from the college, Pell Grant system or wherever they're getting my social security number and giving me new loans.
We should keep moving.
Nightmare.
We got
All right,
more.
nightmare.
Obviously, we know that exercise is good for you, but what scientists have not fully understood is why regular physical activity seems to slow the aging process. Now, a new study published in the journal Nature Aging, can I just say natural aging would be a better title, suggests the answer lies deep inside our muscles at the molecular level. Researchers find that older adults who exercise regularly retained muscle cells that looked remarkably more quote-unquote youthful than those of inactive people, preserving many of the same biological pathways seen in younger adults. So the researchers didn't just look at strength or endurance, they analyzed thousands of molecules inside muscle tissue, including genes, fats, and metabolic compounds. What they found was striking. Regular exercise appears to preserve the machinery responsible for producing cellular energy, maintaining healthy mitochondria, regulating inflammation, and supporting the body's ability to respond to physical stress. In trained older adults, about half of molecular changes normally associated with aging simply don't happen. And one particularly important finding involved NAD, not gonad, but it's NAD, a molecule essential for converting food into energy and repairing damaged cells. NAD plus levels naturally decline with age, contributing to fatigue and reduced cellular function. The study found that physically fit older adults maintained healthier NAD plus related pathways, helping their muscles continue functioning more like those of younger people. Scientists increasingly believe that much of what we think of as normal aging actually reflects years of declining physical activity rather than an unavoidable biological destiny. While exercise can't stop you from aging entirely, obviously, the study suggests it can significantly delay molecular changes that accompany aging. Some age-related changes remain even in highly trained adults, but many others proved surprisingly responsive to long-term illness. So basically, this doesn't mean you can reverse aging. It doesn't turn you from a 70 to a 30-year-old, but it basically just says that, you can slow down the process.
Okay, so I guess it's not, the news isn't that exercise helps keep you young and healthy. I mean, but the news, the story here is that, like, we knew that it did that like the results of at least incremental or little bits of exercise throughout your life helps you with all of that. The news here is that they can finally see why. Is that what that is? It's
That's it. Yeah, that's basically it. It's the chemical thing. It's this NAD plus thing. So
this NAD thing.
Yeah.
How do you NAD boost?
Or NAD max?
NAD max. We should NAD max. Like,
basically, they're just saying, basically, it's just confirming, just exercise.
Right.
It's good for you. The end.
Right. So it's no longer just like something you tell people because like it just works. But now we can see why it works. Oh, Robbie says we hit our chat metric. Woo!
Woohoo! Thank you, Robbie, for letting us know.
Party time.
Oh yeah.
Don't say it on air.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. We got it. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. I don't know. how unscrupulous things might be, but we got there. We're a couple away. We got there, chat metrics. But yes, going forward, you guys, please remember at the top of the month, just drop a hello once a month. That's it. We just needed to clear this hurdle every month. That's all.
Yep.
So thank you. Thank you, guys. So, all right.
Just think of it as think of us as like a menstrual cycle. Bloody and monthly.
Yes, at the start of every month,
But a minor
just drop
inconvenience.
a poop emoji. It's all right.
I've always menstrual.
Minstrel or menstrual?
No, definitely not menstrual.
Oh, okay.
No, that's
Right.
that's a Justin Trudeau thing.
All right, here's another molecular science story. Scientists think they've found the molecular switch, like a light switch, that makes colon cancer deadly. When people hear the words colon cancer, as we've told you guys many times on the show, this is the fastest growing rate of all cancers in young people under the age of 50, 50, colon cancer or colorectal related cancer. So, downstairs cancers.
So is it because they're eating like shit or they're ass fucking a lot, or is it something else?
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with sex. My gastro seems to believe that it's from America's diet, but now there's they've discovered a molecule that flips the switch to make it deadly, to go from just colon cancer to deadly colon cancer. So, when people hear the words colon cancer, they often assume the tumor is the greatest threat. In reality, it isn't. Most colorectal cancer deaths occur after the disease spreads to distant organs such as the liver or lungs, a process known as metastasis. That's why one of cancer research's biggest questions has never been how tumors begin, but what causes some of them to suddenly become far more aggressive. Now, researchers believe they've identified one of the molecular switches that may help answer that question. In a new study highlighted by Science Daily, scientists found that when levels of a gene-regulating protein called GATA6 or GATA6 falls, colorectal cancer cells can undergo a dramatic identity change. They become trans. They trans into something else. Instead of behaving like ordinary colon cells, they transform into highly adaptable stem cell-like cells that are better equipped to invade surrounding tissue. They survive hostile environments and spread throughout the body. Think of GATA6 as a traffic controller. As long as it's present in sufficient amounts, cancer cells largely retain their original identity. But when GATA6, when those levels drop, it's as though the guardrails disappear. The cells become more flexible, more resilient, and ultimately more dangerous. That's weird. So when there's fewer of them, that's when it becomes dangerous. When there's more of them, when there's a gaggle of GATA6, it's safer. Researchers describe this as cellular plasticity, the ability of cancer cells to change who they are in response to stress. The adaptability is one reason metastatic cancers are often so difficult to treat. The discovery doesn't immediately translate into a cure. Scientists still need to determine whether GATA6 itself can be targeted safely with drugs or whether other molecules in the same pathway offer better therapeutic opportunities. But understanding the switch is a major step because it shifts the focus from simply shrinking the tumors to preventing them from becoming metastatic in the first place. It's also part of a broader shift in cancer research. For decades, scientists focused primarily on the genetic mutations that start the cancer. Increasingly, they're realizing that how cancer cells change over time may be just as important as the mutations that created them. Because for many patients, the most dangerous cancer isn't the ones the doctor first discovers, it's the one that learns how to become something else. And that's the threat, right? Is like when it metastasizes, it's almost a guaranteed lights out. Like if it's, you know what I mean? Like if if they discover it early, and like in my case, like my left breast, and I went the super drastic route. I mean, I was at stage 0. I was just like, take them both. I'm in my mid 40s. I'm not going to need them. But anyway, I went the drastic route before it could metastasize because I've had too many family members, immediate family members, die from the metastasized whatever cancer they had. And it's never the organ that it originated in that killed them. It's that the other organs failed because of the metastasis. So this is a huge, like, to learn. I don't know. You can learn more about this GATA6 molecule from ScienceDaily.com, or probably, do your research on this, because I'm sure, Ted, that pretty much everybody listening or watching has had cancer affect their family.
Oh,
Like,
100%. Yeah. Or a friend, right? I mean, everyone.
yeah. Yeah, cancer is, if especially if you're in America, like, pretty much everybody has had cancer impact their lives in one way or another, if not
Is
themselves,
that,
their
do you
family
think,
members,
because
or friends.
our crappy, the massive amounts of pollution that we ingest, as well as
Oh, for
in our
sure.
food, like the terrible food we eat?
The terrible food we eat, not only that we eat junk food, but even in the quasi somewhat healthier foods, like the shit that we call organic or whatever. I mean, it's bombarded with, sprayed with pesticides, or it's probably some GMO seed from Monsanto to begin with. So from its inception, it's some zombie clone of some squash that was made 40 years ago, right? It's a clone of that thing, and then the farms have to spray some, you know, some glyphosate on it to help it stay fresh or whatever, and before it gets to your grocery store. So I think all of that, those are all endocrine disruptors, and if your endocrine system gets fucked, I think that opens a pathway, especially for colon cancer. Like,
Mm.
that's, how scared I was. I did not see the breast cancer thing coming. I always had, like, poop problems my whole life as a kid, so I always assumed, like, if cancer was gonna get me, it was gonna be that. So I've been, like, hyper aware of, I've had, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 colonoscopies, by this age. I think my most recent one was in 2024, and, I thought if anything was gonna get me, it was gonna be, like, colon cancer, because I had all these issues downstairs in the
Mm.
back. But turns out I got breast cancer, but that was my greatest fear, was, like, having a colostomy bag walking around, like, how awful would that be? And not being able to just enjoy life and do whatever. But I delved deep into all of this stuff because I was scared shitless about getting colon cancer.
Right.
And I learned about, like, our diets and our the American food system, and it literally scared me shitless. And it forced a change in me, because, like any other good American kid, like, I loved going to McDonald's as a kid. I loved eating Doritos. I love Cheetos. Like, who doesn't? Every American does. And I still eat them, like, a few, but it scared me. It just, as I became an adult, to see how the sausage was made, and, now we're seeing all of these rates of colon cancer rise to this extreme, to the fastest growing cancer among those under 50. That's crazy. Crazy talk. It's not happening anywhere else in the world, Ted. Nowhere else in the world. Why is it an American problem? Ass cancer.
Yeah. No. It's yeah. I mean, look, I agree with you. It is those things.
Like, it's kind of terrifying, but it's cool that they found this GATA6. I would like to learn more about it. I mean, I just learned about it today, so I would like to learn more, because this is right up my back alley,
Literally.
literally.
For decades, one of the hardest endurance challenges on Earth has been trying to survive as a journalist. No, that's not it. Rowing solo across the Pacific Ocean from California to Hawaii. Now, a woman has the record. Kelsey Fendler, she's a 32-year-old Grand Canyon River guide, has become the fastest person ever to complete the 2,400-mile voyage. She rowed from California to Honolulu over the course of 43 days, 17 hours, and 55 minutes alone at sea. In the process, she didn't merely shatter the women's record of 86 days. She did shatter that. She did it in half that time. She also beat the men's record of 52 days by more than a week. That's 43 days of rowing through swells, relentless sun, sleep deprivation, blistered hands, equipment maintenance, freeze-dried meals, and complete isolation aboard a 21-foot rowboat named Lily. I mean, that's definitely bigger than a standard rowboat, right? Just saying.
It's gotta be, yeah.
But it's a rowboat. It's still a boat, and you're on the high seas. There were no support boats, no teammates, no timeouts, not even a cat. Fendler originally set out to become the first American woman to complete the crossing solo. Instead, she became the fastest person to ever do it. She attracted hundreds of thousands of followers online who watched as she documented everything from rough seas and exhaustion to surprise birthday wishes delivered over the radio by the Coast Guard. This was a big deal.
That's wild. Like, she beat the men's record, Ted, and she doesn't even identify as a dude.
True. And she doesn't look like a dude. One thing you would have to do. It's hard to tell, but she looks pretty from here. She would.
Sorry.
They look different. So she would. One thing I imagine she did was she must have timed the weather, her trip to coincide with good weather as much as possible, right? Because it's obviously, you're one typhoon away from death, right? Or just even like any decent storm out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You're fucked. So I bet she planned it for like a period of exceptional calm. Also,
have you ever rowed?
Too.
I've never rowed. This has got to be a great gig doing local news in Honolulu. Oh,
but by the way, they have interesting news there. I mean, Hawaii has gangs. It has all. It's one of the biggest car theft capitals in the United States.
I've never looked into that.
I was always like, where are people going? You're on an island.
There she is.
Like they go to chop shops because the importation of the parts is so expensive.
There she is. Mm-hmm. That's her arriving in Honolulu Harbor. The local news covered it. No, she's cute. She's a cute girl.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, she's not like some big old hulking, No, she's cute. Look, it's a row. I mean, it's a small boat, but she's got like no shelter. How the hell? This, I gotta say, is really, wow, somebody flying over her, really awesome. That not only did she smash the women's record.
The ocean's very calm there.
Well, right there. Hold on, there. Is that her?
No, that was Cheech and Chong there.
That's her right there. That's her right there. Mm-hmm. That's her rowboat. Mm-hmm. So people were all on the shore, like following her journey.
It's funny
and
that she
waiting.
Arrived at night. Yeah.
Is this her?
Must be her.
No, that's not. That's
just a local
some
lady.
Fan.
Mm-hmm.
Some Howley. There she is. That's really cool.
I have a feeling
Gabbard should have been there.
I have a feeling she slept very, very hard after she checked into her hotel. I bet she slept like 16 straight hours.
That's nuts. Well, yeah. I mean, fuck. I was expecting her. I honestly did not physically look her up, like to see what she physically looked like until right now. So you guys are seeing this in real time. I was expecting her to be a little more like mannish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With like big arms and big shoulders, like, because rowing, like that's
but no,
serious
not so
upper body.
Not so much.
No, she's like a fit, athletic, thin, smaller woman. Like I did not expect her to look like that. Good for her. How cool is that? And that, look, we always talk about like trans issues and how it's a man, as Robbie would say, cosplaying as a woman to smash records, right? Like that college swimmer. But this is she not only beat the women's record, she beat the men's record, and she's I don't know, I think it's a world record. Is that what you said? Is that what you read? Did she do a world record? Yeah. By a lot. Like, good on her.
She was hauling ass.
Fuck, I don't know how she did it, but I thought that was the good news of the day. I thought that was kind of cool to share. Because there should be, something lighter out there. But damn. Yeah, that's Robbie. I'm trying to put Robbie on screen.
Hi there.
Hello. Okay, so before we go, this is a short episode today, but I was just saying how this woman smashed all records, not only the women's record, and I was expecting her to be kind of more mannish, and she's not, and like she's a thin, fit woman. I thought she'd have big buff arms and big shoulders. Nope, she looks good. This, I was like, wait a minute, what's the trick? Is she trans? Is she, identifying? No, this is a biological woman. Like, good on her, good on us females. I love seeing stories like this of like a woman doing something that nobody thought could be accomplished by a girl.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's obviously driven, she's disciplined, she's athletic, she wanted it, and she went for it.
So it's a feel-good story, guys, for Thursday. Okay, it's a feel-good story. I wanted to put one in there because that's really cool. No one else is really covering this. I thought it was worth mentioning that, some woman rode from freaking California all the way to Hawaii, and that is a 5-hour plane ride,
or
from
6.
LAX,
or 6. Yeah,
it's basically the same as me going from DC to visit my family in California. It's like 5 or 6-ish hours direct flight.
Yeah.
This is
where did we don't know where she left from in California, right? We don't really know.
I thought it said somewhere in SoCal.
Oh.
So somewhere in SoCal.
It's wild.
More straight across.
If you think about from a historical context, like what the Polynesians would do, like they would go on those old log canoes and then just go out and just see what's on the other side of the horizon, or the Vikings with their long ships. I mean, we know that they took the rivers in Europe. They went up to the Mediterranean. They attacked Constantinople. They scared the crap out of the Muslims in Baghdad. I mean, they were all over the place. These pasty whiteys with their dragon ships. I mean, went and said hello to the Indians.
I learned about those threats from Moana.
Yeah, it's wild. Moana. There's something to be said. It's really a testament to the human spirit about having that kind of drive to look out over the horizon and say, I want to know what's over there. And you don't stop till you find out. That's a very human impulse.
Yeah, I love this.
So for the Polynesians, for example, who traveled thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean in dugout canoes, do you think they had any way of grokking where something might be? That there might be, like, okay, so for example,
you're just going out aimlessly?
Yeah, in other words, are they just saying like, just go? Or do they have some way of like sussing out from the currents or the wind flow, or there's some way to like say, I think actually land is kind of like out that way. You know what I mean?
Like there's more land over there.
Is it just random guessing, or
yeah? Because obviously this chick has like sonar and like all the gadgets on her rowboat.
Yeah, I mean, we know how she did it. I mean, I'm talking about like, how did these guys do it? I mean, like, for example, I think
200
about,
years ago.
Like someone like Sri Lanka is about 65 miles off the coast of India. And there are tigers there. And it was long believed that Sri Lanka was attached to the mainland of the South Asian subcontinent. Basically, and at some point, tigers just ended up stranded there. Now we know that's not what happened. Someone saw them swimming back and forth. They swim back and forth. You can't
60 miles?
Yeah, 65 miles. You can't see the Sri Lanka from India or vice versa.
Right.
So how does the tiger know? Does the tiger do some tigers just hop into the ocean, swim off in the middle of it, and swim off somewhere and then drown? Or does the tiger know, like, oh, I can smell land, it's that way?
Or like how do the Cuban migrants, the wet foot, dry foot people, how do they know where Florida is, like once
That's a
you're
good
out in the middle
question
of the
too.
ocean?
Yeah,
How do you wash up on?
there are navigation charts, right?
Yeah, but I don't think these people are equipped with that when you're like a Cuban
Probably not, but it's
refugee.
Yeah, that's a good point too, right? Like, how do they find it? How do they know?
Well, I mean, they got fishermen. They obviously have charts. They have a map. They have a globe. I mean, they're not uneducated. Yes, I mean that's obviously how they. As far as the Cubans go,
how did they know, or did they not know?
Wait, John in the chat says, our chat scientist says, bird flight patterns. People see birds flying the same direction every day and think, well, there must be something in that general direction. Also fish and wave patterns too.
However, there's like very few birds that fly from, say, Polynesia to South America, and we know that they made that trip.
And yes, man-child, if she was fugly, it would be less impressive a feat. It would.
No, it would not. No, it would not.
No, I'm kidding. It's an added bonus that she's not what I expected, like
Amelia
a big
Earhart
hulking.
Was cute, but she was kind of like her hair was too short.
Yeah,
do you think she was a lesbian then?
I don't think she was. I don't think Amelia Earhart was a lesbian at all. I think she was married or something, wasn't she?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this lady that we're talking about, I mean, no, she did. It was impressive. It was a phenomenal feat for sure.
Yeah, she was married.
But this lady here, I mean, she's never in any danger. If something would have happened, the Coast Guard would have picked her up. I mean,
she was married to a very famous publisher, Putnam Books. She was married to George Putnam.
Amelia Earhart was married to George Putnam?
Yeah. And he promoted her.
Putnam Books.
He promoted her, like, her whole career.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll ever find her, what's left of her plane.
Yeah. Somewhere in the ocean. I recently heard somewhere that's one of these sonar companies. I know they're trying to get themselves PR, but they supposedly say they've pinged her
found
plane.
it. Yeah. Her plane's
I don't
know. Her plane's definitely at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, no question. She never made it to that atoll that people talked about.
No.
She ran out of fuel.
I mean, that was relevant to this story. That's a lady that was trying to break records, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Like, I'm glad that same destiny, that same fate did not happen to this woman.
So it's kind of his fault that she died, because he encouraged her to take on more and more, try to break more and more records.
Is that really a thing? Is that really what happened? Like
Yeah.
Her publisher husband told her, you should do it. You should.
Yeah. Basically, it was like, come on, we got to keep upping the ante,
That's so weird. I never knew.
He promoted her as Lady Lindy, like like Charles, the Lady Charles Lindbergh.
Yeah. I never knew. I thought she was like a single lady, and that maybe she was, secretly munching the rugs.
This is funny, Robbie. I don't know how you would feel about this. She was a reluctant bride, famously turning down 6 proposals to get married before finally consenting. Their civil ceremony omitted the traditional vow to obey her husband. Instead, she declared their marriage a partnership with dual control.
I can get with that. Robbie's gonna be mad at her now.
Yeah, maybe.
No matter. I mean, it's
he was married 4 times, and
before or after her.
She was bride number 2. She was married. He was initially married to. his first wife was Dorothy Binney, and she was a very famous crew athlete.
Rowing.
Then he married only 2 years after Amelia, Jean-Marie Cosigny James. Basically, it was a World War II wedding, 1939 to 1945.
Huh.
Then, you know who this is. Margaret Haviland was his last wife.
I know this name, Haviland. Margaret Haviland.
No idea who that is.
No,
Really?
I know the name Haviland, but not Margaret.
Oh, yeah, Margaret Haviland. Oh, yeah, no.
Wait, so his first 2 wives were like these like crazy like stunt or like a rower? There was a lady rower he was married to, his first wife.
He was into like strong athlete ladies.
Huh.
Well, she wasn't really. Amelia wasn't an athlete.
Sure, but she's like an adventurous. It fits. It fits the profile. I don't know about the third one, and I don't know about the fourth one. So there's a type. It takes a special kind of guy to be with a woman like that, I gotta say. That's. I get it. It takes a special kind of someone to be married to me too. I get it. I get it. So, but there you go. So I don't know. We'll leave it there. Tomorrow, I don't want to jinx it, but we have Ted and I later today have a an important pre-tape. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it and say the name, Ted.
No,
but
don't do that.
No, but we
it's
have
not
a plan.
Amelia Earhart.
It's not. We did not find her. I'm sorry. We did not find Amelia Earhart. But we did manage to book a very important scientist in the world of
not John D. Rockefeller.
No, not JDC in the chat and not Dr. Reese, but a very important scientist, probably the nation's foremost scientist on sperm and fertility and stuff. So as jism is the scientific term. She's a jizz doctor.
A jizz doc.
She's a jizz doctor.
Or a spunk doc. Is she?
Yeah. Sure. So we'll be showing some of that tomorrow.
Or spooge.
What?
I'm just looking up like names for
spooge.
Slang term spooge.
I feel like I've heard something like that. So we're going to air some of it tomorrow, but the rest will be.
Are we going to air the sperm?
The interview, yeah, we're going to air some of it on the show tomorrow, and then the rest of it.
Oh, I've never heard of skeet. That's a term.
Well, yeah, skeet from the windows to the wall. Ted, skeet.
What's that from? Is that a song?
That's Little John, man. Little John.
Baby gravy, baby gravy.
Baby batter.
Yeah.
So did either one of y'all ever read any of Michael Crichton's books?
Yes, no. Many.
The 13th Warrior. Did you ever read that one?
No.
So that was pretty wild. So it's kind of going back into exploration. It's about this Arab guy who got exiled because he had an affair with a married woman, and so he was sent as a emissary to the north and ended up getting up with a bunch of Vikings. Highly recommend it. It's a small book. It's only like 300 pages. It's very well written, though, like most of Michael Crichton's books are. I know I'm kind of steering us away from Baby Batter, but I just say it's more interesting.
All right.
So that's.
Thank you for that recommendation. Much appreciated.
Tomorrow, you guys stay tuned.
Eaters of the Dead. Yeah, Ains is right. The 13th Warrior is the movie it's based off of. Eaters of the Dead is the name of the book. Highly recommend.
Eaters of the Dead?
Eaters of the Dead.
Don't know.
Right.
So you guys stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to give you a teaser of this interview. And then in order to see the whole thing, you can become a $5 a month subscriber to the TMI Show.
Yep.
It'll be a fun conversation. So
it will be.
It will be about baby batter. That does it for us on Thursday. We'll see you mañana for Fun Friday. Adios, amigos. Thank you.
Bonsoir.
Bye.